Okay, it says it's recording.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll
awesome.
figure it out.
Okay, cool, cool.
What's up, dude?
Okay, so why don't we start out by um you kind of retelling your little experience with your tomatoes, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So that was cool, huh? I
That's my favorite video.
right? Um oh dude, that footage. What the heck? Sorry, I'm trying to get back to Zoom. I clicked off it. Come on. Weird. There we go. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Audio frame. Choose avatar. Sorry, I've done something here.
Oh, no worries. I don't know how to figure it out. So,
Right. It's weird too because it like came through social media. I guess it's like came up through the Zoom app on my thing. Somehow I like don't have a full screen. I can only see myself.
are you trying to do the screen share?
No, just so we can like so I can see I can't see you anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
I can only see myself in the corner. It's really weird. There we go. Chat. No. No. Yeah, all the shit I do on YouTube, bro, I really don't know what I'm doing with computers.
Oh, I don't at all. I can't figure it out. But I do have a client that's a computer programmer, and she's helped me with a couple of things. I just feel bad if I ask her for too much.
Yeah.
But she got my website going, so
Oh yeah, that looks sweet, dude. Okay, so yeah, so dude, it was pretty cool how we just met in the first place. What's that been? Like 2 years
for
ago
two, 2 years, somewhere right around 2 years. Yeah.
on Facebook, right? So I remember I posted something. Well, it was kind of that same tomato video that I put out, but it was before I ever planted
When
tomatoes. And
right. So what happened the prior year? Was it a similar type fusarium wilt disaster that you were because you were fumigating it with the mustard?
yeah, yeah. So it was root knot nematodes, really?
Oh, is that what it was the first year?
Yeah, yeah. So like
Okay.
when I was like pulling the tomato plants out, yeah, I saw some root knot nematodes and I've grown tomatoes. It's like the very first high tunnel I've ever built on the farm. And every year since I've grown tomatoes there, which is, I mean, if I don't think I'm gonna grow tomatoes in that tunnel this year, but if I were
I
to,
I
I,
I think you should, but
yeah.
I think I should give you a little protocol beforehand and then see what happens. Like I think I could help you get your best ever with zero disease in there, even doing it again.
Yeah, no,
But
it's not
but
about
keep
that.
that in the back of your mind.
It's just not the crop plan for this year. I'm just scaling
Oh, I
back
got you.
on everything in general this year and focus more on YouTube, you know.
I got you.
And I've got some other projects, similar projects that I'm working on um with tomatoes. So like I'm really only gonna do like two
Small of it.
50-foot rows of tomatoes this year, I think. Which that
Got
year,
you.
dude, like I grew hundreds of tomato plants. It was fucking
Yeah, you had 3,000 square feet that year, didn't you? Just that
yeah.
one tunnel.
Yeah. Tomatoes I've learned are just like a lot of work, and I don't
That
make
had
a
to
lot
be
of them.
that harvest had to be incredibly
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
crazy.
hard to like. like I sell lettuce, dude, lettuce and arugula mostly, that's like what pays the bills. And it's like, dude, 100, or I guess like a better
The
way.
same space at lettuce will pay triple.
Right,
Right.
exactly. And like to deliver it alone, because I don't do the deliveries, I pay people to do it. It's like, dude, like one box of tomatoes is like 20 bucks and it weighs like 25 pounds, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah, versus the 10 a pound for lettuce
right, yeah,
or more.
exactly. Yeah. But
Yeah, I feel you there.
yeah, this year I'm doing something similar with tomatoes, but I'm only gonna plant 20 or two 50-foot beds of cherry tomatoes in the summer. Um,
Gotcha. Go
what?
ahead. Go ahead.
We're gonna do a similar project with mustard and peas and oats. But it's instead like so Ben Hartman asked me to help him with a project that he's like writing a new book of like how to farm without plastic, basically. And so we're gonna
Oh,
do like
that's
the
cool.
same thing, except like instead of like a plastic tarp to terminate it, we're gonna like undercut it with a wheel hoe and then put compost on top and then burlap instead of plastic. So
Uh-huh.
we'll see how that goes. So that's the plan for
That's
the
cool.
year. Yep. So
That-
yeah, I don't know what we'll do in that other tunnel, but that was the issue was root knot nematodes, why I biofumigated that tunnel. And then that's kind of how we met, right? I like
Right.
posted the a reel of what I was doing, and you're like, I don't know if that's a good idea, dude. And then we started talking, and yeah, you sent me the mycogasm. And I mean, at that time, like, dude, I
I think
didn't.
you kind of set it up and forgot about it because there was nothing in the tunnel, right? If that's the way I understood it, because you started getting that disease and it took you a day or two before you remembered you had that.
But
Was that right?
that was a different, it wasn't in the
That
tunnel.
was the next year, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like then so everything in that tunnel has always done great. I've never had like a lot of disease issues with tomatoes, but I guess as I tell you this, I'll tell you some more what's happened even since then. So like I have those little beds like in front where I planted um determinate tomatoes that year. And yeah, so like they did great overall, but then there was just always kind of these two little plants there. They just always looked a little bit weaker than the rest of them. And then, like, yeah, over time, it just got really bad. And I just remembered you had sent me like some free samples, and I forget how we talked about it, but at one point you sent me a message or something that just said this stuff will cure any tomato disease, right? And I was just like, all right,
Right.
dude, like I don't even know this guy, but that's
Go try it on my tomatoes.
yeah, I just remembered that you said that to me, and I saw these guys like dying, and yeah, it like started to get worse, especially when it rained, and like I live in Tennessee where it's like super humid.
It rains and it's
Uh,
humid and it's hot.
yeah, right. Like it can get real nasty. I've learned over the years, like this year, like part of when, like why I'm scaling back on tomatoes this year is because I'm just gonna take some time off in the middle of the summer because nothing actually does
Too
good. You
hot.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just so
Yeah.
hot, humid. Like anything we do is a huge struggle, disease, pests, and so really, it's like I do really good until like 4th of July, and then like 4th of
And
July
then it's too
then
hot.
like it's done, and then then I just need like 30 or 40 days rest, and
Yeah.
then you start planting your fall crops in early to mid August, you know what I mean? And like if you've still got like full grown crops in August, like forget about it, those things are starting to like go south fast, so
Yeah, they've endured too much stress already.
yeah, yeah, so like then when they started that type of like temperatures and humidity started happening, it just started getting really worse. And really like this like focused area, but then when it rained, I saw it starting to spread. And then we got another rainstorm, and I just got super nervous and I didn't know what to do. I never had like disease issues on tomatoes like that. I mean, like
Where they
obviously,
come through like that and take everything out, right?
right,
That
like
looked like
or
it was fusarium wilt without getting tested. It's, I'm
you're
80% it's
right,
fusarium wilt.
and yeah, yeah, I'd say so. And especially after everything like I've seen you post over since then and like my experience since then, I'd say so. Yeah, it was most likely Fusarium, and I've got really little like experience identifying that type of stuff, but
That's the one I'm the most experienced in just because of the type of growing I've been doing. That's the one that shows up on indoor facilities and
yeah,
wipes everything out at once.
right? Yeah.
So it can be a scary one, and it's super misunderstood.
Yeah.
Most people think it's anaerobe because it shows up when everything's saturated and wet. So
Hmm.
they think it's an anaerobe, but it's truly an aerobe. And when it can't breathe, it fights back.
Yeah, and that makes
And
sense.
that's how most of the pathogens are. Most of them are aerobes, and when they can't breathe, they fight back. So you see the problem in anaerobic conditions, but it's not because they're happy, it's because they're pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Um, so yeah, dude, like I just took in like panic mode because I had nothing, no other plan. I mean, like I'd had like disease on tomatoes before, but mostly it's like late season blight in Tennessee.
Blight and little stuff you can pick
Yeah,
off and
yeah,
clean
right.
the
You just pick
plant
them
and make
off. You
it.
know what I mean? Who cares? The plants are on their way out anyways. At this point, they're already
Right.
100 days old. You just pick the rest of the tomatoes. But yeah, this seemed different. Like you've seen the pictures, people have seen it.
Oh, yeah. It
And I
takes
mean,
over from the xylem
those plants
and
were
it
dead,
inhabits the
dead.
whole plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I just like mixed that shit in 5 gallon buckets and just dumped it. And then I just dumped it at the base of the plants. And yeah, it was like it just stopped it. I mean, it so the rest
It's
of
like it didn't even go 1 inch further almost, huh?
yeah, yeah, right.
It's like
Like the two or
immediate.
three plants in that little area died, and then the rest, yeah, we picked all the tomatoes and it was great. Um, and then so and that was only like they were close, like there was tomatoes on the plants when that happened. I just needed like a few
And
more
they
leaves.
harvested, right?
Yeah,
Those tomatoes harvested,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
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 So what you saw there is so the pathogens, when they get into a plant, they'll grow and they'll sporulate, but they don't communicate with each other until they reach a critical mass. And that critical mass is what you're seeing in those couple dead plants. But then once they hit that critical mass, they start sending out signals to each other and they take over. And that's why you see a complete plant drop at once because they started signaling each other
Mm,
and overtook every beneficial in there as soon as they started doing that. And what that mycogasm did is it stopped that signaling right there. So
mm,
then they're working one at it. They're working one on one instead of a group. So it stops their group activity.
yeah,
That's why it stops the disease instantly,
yeah.
and then gives you a chance to work backwards. If you have crops, you can work backwards through, which tomatoes aren't one of those.
And so it's been really interesting in that area. Like just that part of the garden is like a problem area. So even since then, I mean, and it was like the same time of year too, it started happening. So since then, I've planted like thyme, rosemary, and bee balm in that area. And
Mhm.
like the thyme kind like I guess like all the bee balm got powdery mildew. The thyme, I don't know. Maybe it's like some type of fusarium. Um, like when it gets like rains and gets super humid, the thyme almost looks like it has mold on it. But then like as soon as it dries out, the mold kind of goes
It's
away.
gone.
But like what?
then the mold goes away, but there's still some damage where it was.
Yeah. Like the leaves just like and then like the woody stem is just kind of bare because the leaves all fell off, but then like the newer growth will kind of look okay. And we continued harvesting it throughout the season. I think like in like August or so when it was super humid and stuff, I just cut the plants right back to the ground basically, and then they regrew and we still were able to harvest it and it was kind of a little bit better. And
Do you have sandy soil under that those compost beds or clay, heavy clay?
heavy clay. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Um, I'll get with you afterwards and I'll help you understand what's going on there because there's a single nutrient issue going on there, and I
yeah,
can help you with that after the so we're not taking up the show time, um but all of those pathogens, they rely on the same issue in the soil. When
yeah,
it's there, they'll all express.
yeah,
And um, there's a simple nutrient and then microbiological application that you can make that will stop all that,
yeah. I'm just gonna
along
pull
with the
that stuff out and
microchemicals.
I'm gonna plant mustard cover crop in that area this
There you go.
year.
They won't be affected by any of that at all.
Yeah. Um,
So
yeah, this year is gonna be the year for cover crops. I'm just taking it easy. Like I said, scaling back on the farming a little bit, focus on YouTube and just grow cover crops, you know?
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I tried hitting that stuff with the mycogasm this year, and like it almost seemed like it helped at first, but like you need to like reapply it often.
Well,
Is that what you would say?
in 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 a system that I'll go ahead and just tell you what you're short so that we can get to the bottom of it rather than wait until afterwards. So calcium in any system, it moves downward in your soil.
Yeah,
So if you're not planting deep root cover crops that bring it back up and then leaving that to decompose at the top under your compost, if you're not doing that to a great enough extent, and with your clay, it may be the issue of the clay colloid and not whether there's calcium there, but whether it's available.
yeah,
Um, so all of your you've heard calcium drilled because of plant structures, cell walls, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, it's a big determinant in whether a pest or a pathogen can get into the plant, but 100 times more so than that, the plant and the pathogen both use calcium signaling to um, to invade and to avoid invasion, not in the cell wall. This is signaling, like neural signaling in our brains is all calcium dependent. In microbes and plants, it's the same thing. All those signals are calcium dependent, and there's organelles inside all the cells that hold sacs of acidic calcium so the plant and the microbe can get to it really fast for transient peaks. And if you don't have enough in the soil for the soil structure to for the clay colloid to make it open up and make it be accessible, you have to have that plus the plant structural and architectural calcium. Then you have to have all the signaling calcium in the microbes and the plant. So that's why on the back it says add calcium on those instructions. It says in cocoa because I didn't realize every media needs it, and here's why. Um, because after the calcium in the soil, or after the plant and the soil are have what they need structurally, you have all these intercellular organelles that need to be full of calcium so that when for calcium signaling there's an available immediate store to use for that calcium signaling. When that's not there, the pathogenic traits get expressed in the microbe when that excess isn't there. And so the first time you used it, you had all that calcium in your soil, and your microbes and plant took it all up and used it and were able to do what was meant to do. Then if there's not still calcium there, then yes, you're going to have to apply one or the other, either the microgasm or the calcium. But if you apply the calcium, then you don't need to keep applying the microgasm because it's simply that they're running that calcium has gone down into your soil, and without going way down there, they can't access it.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing is what I like to suggest to people who are battling stuff that seems to be fairly consistent is every 30 days, spread some crushed gypsum, not a lot. Just spread a little bit of crushed gypsum on your beds every 30 days, like a handful per 100 square feet, and
Mm.
you'll see everything just stop.
Yeah.
Everything will stop because it's so highly calcium dependent. And I can put that in the microgasm, but then your usage rate goes through the roof, right? So there's that because the calcium takes up space and weight in the product if I was to do that.
I I think I'm gonna do a soil test. I've never done a soil test in my life.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And when you do that, take a sample that just goes to 2 inches deep,
Yeah.
take a sample that goes to 4, take a sample that goes to 6, and then take a sample that goes to a foot, and
Yeah.
send those in separate.
Yeah.
Even if you skip the 2 and just do a 4, a 6, and a 12, that'll show you where your calcium's at.
Yeah.
And I promise you, with especially with that leaf curl you were getting on your celery as well,
Mm,
the microgasm can stop all that, but only if it has the calcium in the soil available. And
right.
that's another product I'm working on actually as a Calpac because with this facility I'm working with in Washington, that was a determining factor. It wasn't until the infection stopped spreading, but we didn't truly get our plant health back until he finally got the calcium in there. It took him 6 months to figure out how to get the calcium in there because of the type of feeding system it is. He can't have anything that will clog um, emitters or anything like that, and so it was a lot of experimentation until he figured out which calcium will work. And then it just boom, it was night and day, instant turnaround. But it takes both items
Interesting.
because of what the microbiology needs.
Well, I see a lot of like CalMag products. What's a CalMag product in comparison
So
to like gypsum?
so your gypsum, most of your calcium mined rock, like gypsum and lime and stuff, it has a little bit of magnesium in it,
Yeah.
1 to 4%, because naturally magnesium hangs out with calcium.
Yeah.
Um, Now, when you're looking at your Cal Mag products, those are generally a 1 to 4 to a 1 to 6 ratio of mag to calcium.
Yeah.
And if you're working with clay soils that already have a lot of magnesium, those are going to really hurt you because they're going to tie up nitrogen in your soil and then they're going to cause compaction. Calcium, so your clay colloids, they'll sit like this, stacked on top of each other.
Mm,
When calcium comes in there, it turns them up like this, like an I-beam, and then all those spaces can be filled and accessed of nutrients. Where magnesium makes them sit like this, and nothing can get in or out. It locks everything up, including nitrogen.
interesting.
So when you're dealing with clay, it's better to A, get a soil test, but B, use or a gypsum and or an organo acid chelated calcium product because those organo acids will help it get into the soil, lower the pH a little bit, and break those colloids up and stack them.
Interesting. What do you know? So one thing I've used over the years is azomite. It has calcium and magnesium in it and in small amounts.
It
What
does, and they're real small amounts.
yeah,
And I use azomite as well. Some people will tell you not to use it because it contains aluminum, and it does about 11 to 13%. But that aluminum's tied to silicate. That's how all clay is. It's those clay colloids are that aluminum silicate. The thing about the azomite, it's great for a multi nutrient multi micronutrient, but the amount of calcium in it helps, but it's insufficient for what the plant needs. So in dry plant matter in these crop vegetables, your nitrogen is 2 to 3% on a dry matter basis, and your calcium is 2 to 8%.
Yeah,
So it needs twice to three times as much calcium as it does nitrogen, every one of those crops. So that kind of shows you the need. It should be listed as a macro, not as a micro, because it needs more calcium than any other nutrient,
sure.
period.
Yeah.
So, um, and then calcium, it's crazy. Calcium determines pathogenicity. So that fusarium, that's present everywhere on your farm. It's just not pathogenic.
Yeah.
That is that is the most encountered plant endophyte. It's encountered in more plant species than mycorrhiza.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a natural symbiont in crop and wild plants, and it's only when it loses its food source or calcium goes sideways that it starts to become pathogenic because it's looking for food then or looking for air.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That makes sense. Like I think I like every pathogen and disease you can imagine is probably out there. You know what I mean? It just
it's
needs
out there, right?
the
It's out
right
there. It's just a
uh
matter of being suppressed.
environment for it to thrive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
But
all about that terrain, you
yeah.
know.
And a lot of times for me, that just means like growing the right crops at the right time of year, you know, you try growing.
It does. It does. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, and like I typically like choose resistant varieties. That's a big thing for me when I'm selecting
Right.
seeds. You know what I mean? Like I mostly grow Salanova lettuce, which is like resistant to almost everything. That stuff is never gets
Well,
any.
that's kind of a necessity when you're running as big of an operation as you are on your own too.
Yeah,
You don't need all the little headaches that come along with
right.
weak genetics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for the most part, it's just clockwork, harvesting lettuce, arugula every week, and carrots. I've never really had any issues with carrots. It's the same sort of thing. The carrot issues I have had is by trying to grow them at the wrong time of year,
right.
like in the heat of summer, then I have carrot issues. And then it's like root crops, I never have too much issues with root crops outside of like stupid pests. Um,
Right. So did the foliar spray that you tried, did you
yeah.
notice that ran the pests out pretty quick, or just did you just see the major plant reaction to it?
Yeah, I mean, like the major plant reaction for sure was cool. And like the first time I did it, it was kind of like questioning in my head, like was what I was
Like, was
seeing.
that real?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, wait, does this stuff actually look like super dark? And then I did it again, and I was like, yeah, dude, like everything just turned super dark green after I sprayed it, which was cool.
And
Um,
and pops and prays better?
Yeah, I was having a lot of thrip issues this summer, and
Did
I
that slow it down after it takes 2 or 3 days after the spray. It's not immediate because it's not a biocide or anything.
no, I
But
was
did you notice less pressure 2 or 3 days later?
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's not from that. I
Oh,
was
got you.
using so like I grew like insane cucumbers this year, which was awesome, but the way I did it was like weekly sprays of Pyganic to battle the
You keep
cucumber
the
beetles.
beetles and stuff
Yeah.
back.
But then I think by spraying Pyganic over and over and over, that the thrips got resistant to it.
Right. Right.
And so then I just had this insane thrip infestation, and I tried spraying them with spinosad and Pyganic, and that did nothing. So I switched to what's it called? I can't even remember. Botanigard.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a powder, but it's like a spore, right? It's not like an actual chemical, and that like helped clear up all the pests, I think. So it,
So we're gonna lose the thing here pretty soon, but write this down. MPK. 52. M as in mother, 52. It's metarhizium,
Yeah.
and it's super, super awesome. So it's a it's an entomopathogenic fungus,
Hmm.
and you can make a tea out of it and then spray your plants and apply it at the root zone as well. And what happens if any bug lands on that plant, it parasitizes it out in a puff ball of fungus, and
Oh,
it blows off the plant after that. It's just, and it seems now the literature I find doesn't have a lot of confidence in spider mites, but
mm,
I had some spider mites. I hit them one time and they've never come back.
yeah. Yeah.
So
I was pretty happy with the Botanigard is yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I really like Pyganic too for cucumber beetles. You know, they actually, I think, mix those two things together, Botanigard and Pyganic. I might try that this year
um,
on cucumbers specifically.
um, so on those on the thrips, they're after ammonium in the plant. So
Yeah.
if you're given excess nitrogen above what they need, it'll
Mm.
attract them because it won't process it all in the plant. You'll have excess in there. That's one thing. And then heat. The heat causes the plant to catabolize
Yeah.
and raises the ammonium in it. And that's one that's
Yeah.
hard to battle.
Yeah, and it's normal.
Shade cloth, yeah.
Once I hit
That's
like
why
August, it's like super
that's why
hot,
it
you
gets so
know.
hard to
Yeah, the
grow in that
thrips are just
season. Yeah.
kind of everywhere. I think I also in the past, which I didn't do at all this year, actually I okay, well, I was gonna say spray beneficial nematodes.
Mhm.
So there was like a combination. Once I had the infestation, then I sprayed nematodes with a combination of Botanigard, and then I was also started mixing in the stuff that you sent me with all that stuff, and I was spraying it all mixed together at once. You know what I mean? So like all the things.
That probably worked pretty good because then
Yeah,
you're getting their
yeah,
micros to
yeah,
strengthen the plant plus weakening the bug at the same time.
yeah.
You know,
But I think this year I'm gonna try to like just spray my whole farm with nematodes before I even get started with anything,
that's
like
a good way to go.
in the
Yeah, because they're super
springtime.
preventive.
Yeah,
They keep anything from breeding down in that soil.
yeah,
And then it's just the plant matter they can breed on, and you can see that. You can't see what's going on in the soil. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so you got a heads
I
up.
I had done that a lot in the past, how it just kind of grew from like home garden, backyard to what it is now, and it was more manageable at one point with like experimentations and stuff. So like early on,
Right, right.
I was
Once you get bigger, you can't experiment. Like you don't have the time. You just got to know something works and go do it.
right, right. And at this point for me, it's like, dude, like I don't do most of the work. Like I pay people to do it. So like I need like things that are trainable for other people to do.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, like in those early years, I'd sprayed nematodes like 2 or 3 times a year, and then I just kind of got away from it the last year or two. And I think I definitely like felt that last year. Uh,
yeah. They're super good for pests. And out where you're at, bro, is Pest Central. I
yeah,
lived out there when I was younger, and I'll tell you what, if there's a bug around that flies or crawls
yeah,
or or anything else, it's there.
yeah.
It's there.
And like caterpillars were really bad this fall too. It's annoying.
Late caterpillars, that August, September
Yeah.
cabbage moth
Exactly. Yeah.
round.
It's like for me, it was like it's the army worms. Um, and like we plant lettuce and then you come back the next day, we plant like
It's
400
gone.
lettuce heads in a bed. Yeah, you come back the next day and like six of them are gone, you know what I mean? And then like six more the next day, and I mean like the
It
sprays.
adds up quick. It adds
Yeah,
up quick.
yeah. Yeah, and then that's just annoying, you get them under control, but then by the time you go to harvest, like 15% of your bed is empty because it got munched, the seedlings got munched by caterpillars, it's just annoying.
Right before you ever got going. Yeah. Yeah, I had some caterpillars come in late towards the end of the year when we were getting all those crazy winds and rains. You saw that
Yeah,
video when
yeah,
the
yeah.
garden was getting smacked around with 70 plus mile an hour winds. We had caterpillars come in right. I had caterpillars come in right then when those plants were getting weakened like that. And I made the mistake of hitting. I thought all that heavy rain and wind would wash the foliar back off. I
Yeah,
sprayed my cannabis with the foliar.
yeah,
Yeah, that all got turned to edibles.
yeah.
It got the caterpillars out, but oh boy, it
Yeah.
tasted like it tasted like you were inhaling burnt molasses. I was like, okay, it's not gonna work this time.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. Oh, so that stuff, it like it said shake on the bottle, and I shook the shit out of it, dude, and it blew up all over me one time.
Oh, the first bottle.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first one I sent you, I felt so bad, bro. I sent everybody the bottles, and because it goes through a fermentation process, right? Like most of my products are biologically activated, with the exception of microgasm. So I thought it was done fermenting, and I bottled everybody's up and sent them out. And about 3 days later, when everybody's was supposed to arrive, I'm walking through my house and I see the gallon, and it's blown up like a balloon, like the gallon's round like this. I said, oh
Uh,
shit. And I went to take it outside.
uh,
Bro, it exploded all over in my RV. The whole RV was coated in a gallon of it. And I'm like, oh shit, I bet all of them in the mail did the same thing. I call you and you're like, yeah, it just blew up. I call somebody else, they're like, yeah, it blew up. I'm like, oh shit, I'm sending mail bombs on accident.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah, now I make sure I double check it. I bottle it and then I keep it for 2 days in a warm spot before I mail it,
yeah,
just to make sure it's not still going.
yeah.
But yeah.
Ugh, yeah, yeah. What? Yeah, smelled like molasses, and I mean, what's in that stuff?
So it's
Sounds like
basically
soy sauce.
kind of a little bit, right? So I get all the chelates